Have you heard of this military special operations command exercise called JADE HELM?
Holy crap.
The U.S. military is planning an unprecedented training exercise this summer called Operation JADE HELM 15 across 7 states. And with polls showing trust in the government near record lows, that exercise has some Americans feeling uneasy. Jennifer Wishon brings us that story.
Speculation about why the military wants to train in American communities instead of military bases is fueling a growing number of theories across the internet and social media.
The government will take action when it thinks its authority is threatened.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott has even asked his National Guard to monitor it. So what is JADE HELM 15? It's realistic military training taking place simultaneously in 7 states, from Southern California to Texas.
Good morning, Vietnam!
Well, of course, you know, the federal government owns so much land in the United States that they're able to get away with something like this by saying they're going to operate on federal lands and on private lands where they have permission. So it's such a vast amount of space. But I think that from what I've seen, the government has done operations like this on U.S. soil before, but this is apparently one of the largest. It will include members of all of the armed services, special forces, and I think that's probably what got people's attention.
Yeah, 1,200 special forces in the state, and of course some people think, well, this might be the beginning of a major takeover.
JADE HELM 15. While the military says it's just training soldiers for the realities of war, critics say the Army is preparing for modern-day martial law.
Do we have to worry about martial law? Is our federal government coming in and going to practice imposing martial law on Texas?
A former Army captain, Gomert, says he understands the need for training, yet it bothers him that as part of the exercise, the military is labeling Texas, Utah, and Southern California as hostile.
This is actually taking areas of our home country, the United States, and saying Texas is hostile, Utah is hostile, Southern California is hostile, and we got to take it back from the hostiles. I find that incredibly offensive.
And he thinks it's no coincidence that the JADE HELM 15 map looks an awful lot like the 2012 political map. So-called hostile states are colored red.
Picture a man going on a journey beyond sight and sound. He's left Crete. He's entered the demilitarized zone.
The suspicion surrounding JADE HELM 15 is fueled by the fact that a vast majority of Americans simply don't trust the government, a level of mistrust that has peaked under the Obama administration, driven by what many believe to be violations of the Constitution and civil liberties. This is what Americans understand war looks like, but Cheryl Chumley, author of Police State USA, says JADE HELM 15 is introducing a new type of warfare, the master of the human domain.
What's going to happen is the special operations soldiers are going to be dressed in civilian clothes, driving civilian vehicles, and they're going to be tasked with striking up rapport with the local citizens.
It's a new strategy to root out terrorists since locals notice odd behavior first. In JADE HELM, citizens are part of the exercise.
Watch out, because that guy that strikes up a conversation with you at the local 7-Eleven, is he a JADE HELM 15 participant? You know, it's a psychological warfare that it kind of messes with your mind a little bit.
Demilitarized zone. Sounds like something out of The Wizard of Oz.
Oh, no, don't go in
House
there.
Spokesman Josh Earnest says special forces moving about communities will wear armbands.
I feel confident in expressing to you, without having a lot of detailed knowledge of the particular exercise, is that the civil liberties and constitutional rights of American citizens will be in no way affected by this exercise.
Despite conspiracy theories, Congressman Gomert isn't worried that the U.S. military is going to issue martial law, but he's not happy with the president.
When my own commander-in-chief, through his subordinates, is just fine with, for games purposes, declaring an enemy of 2 or more of your states, I've got a real problem with that.
Chumley urges Americans to always stay vigilant when it comes to the government.
What I love most about America is that our rights come from God, not government. And I think we need to hold fast to that principle, because once that's gone, then you just open the doors to more and more government encroachments.
Jennifer Wishon, CBN News.
And heads up, residents of Broward, BSO and other law enforcement agencies will be assisting the military as they conduct training exercises in the skies over the next 2 weeks. So don't be alarmed if you see Black Hawk helicopters in the sky. These urban training drills will be similar to those conducted in Miami-Dade last month.
Lots of us have seen and been shaken by pretend Homeland Security exercises like this one over Miami in 2011. And the sound of choppers, even blank gunfire in the Grove a year later. Nobody got hurt and nothing went wrong, unlike an exercise by these and other Army Black Hawk helicopters in war games Wednesday night along the Miami-Dade Broward line.
It was just loud. I was like, oh, well, I guess because it was right overhead. They were getting right overhead.
Someone captured the circling choppers on a cell phone.
Mom, what the hell?
The Army, in announcing a series of war games to be played here, said in a release, every precaution will be taken to mitigate the risks for the safety of all. The Army says these operations are going to continue through next Thursday in South Florida with no public notice or warning. So keep your ears open and your eyes up. You never know what might be coming your way.
Now picture this, more than a half dozen Marine vehicles coming out of the water, moving onto shore. Inside, dozens of Marines ready to respond to any threat. That's exactly what happened today at Naval Station Mayport. As First Coast News reporter Andrew Capasso explains, it's all part of a training exercise involving Marines from all across the state.
What's happening is between July and September, a bunch of Green Berets, Navy SEALs, and Special Ops from the Air Force and Marines are conducting some realistic training exercises across the Southwest. The military says these are vital skills when it comes to an ever-changing threat. But in the slideshow of the training exercise, it says Texas will be simulated hostile territory.
Good morning. Military officials say the operation is needed to keep special forces prepared for emerging threats from around the world. But there's enough paranoia here that Governor Greg Abbott has ordered the Texas State Guard to keep a close eye on the exercises.
This is in preparation for the financial collapse and maybe even Obama not leaving office. I mean, I'm telling you, this is so huge.
Online, there is no shortage of people who think Jade Helm 15 is masking something insidious.
One thing is for sure, troops will be ready and trained to take over your town when it happens.
They're preparing to initiate martial law and maybe even roundups. This is not a joke. It's the real deal.
The Army tells CBS News the operation has nothing to do with martial law, that many of the exercises will take place in remote areas, away from the public. But after this map of the training exercises surfaced, which identified Texas, Utah, and Southern California as hostile territory, the conspiracy theories took off.
My friends, this is a declaration of war on United States soil. This is in our backyard.
Even plumbing repairs at several Walmart stores drew suspicion.
Walmart closing stores across the nation. Most of them, if not all, are in the Jade Helm exercise vicinity.
Jade Helm truly is just a training exercise to prepare Army Special Operations Forces for future operations overseas. That's all we want to do.
The Army says misinformation is being spread by people with a personal agenda, but many in this overflow crowd remained skeptical.
I'm a concerned citizen, and I believe that everybody should be concerned about this.
On Tuesday, Governor Greg Abbott ordered the Texas State Guard to monitor military personnel movements and training exercise schedules and ensure that safety and constitutional rights of Texans were not being violated. That prompted this response from the White House.
I have no idea what he's thinking. I might have an idea of what he's thinking, but I'm not going to.
Jade Helm will run 8 weeks from July to September. The military says it is a routine training exercise, but its size and scope do set it apart from others. Officials also say it should not be disruptive to most citizens.
Well, we ask people, are you the enemy? And whoever says yes, we shoot them.
What?